Hello, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. So today's lesson is a chaotic mess. We've all seen it. Our world is in a chaotic mess. It is total chaos. And I was looking in the book of 1st and 2nd Kings, and when you read through Kings, you see the progression of all the different kings, but there's one phrase that pops up over and over, and it's the phrase, they did that which was right in their own eyes. And that phrase has been popping up to me a lot lately. They did what was right in their own eyes. And in today's society, all you hear is do whatever makes you happy. Do what you want to do. Meaning it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks as long as you're happy. It doesn't matter what other people say. It's whatever makes you happy. Nothing about that says I'm seeking God and His will for my life. Nothing about that says I want to follow God and seek Him in all areas of my life. Nothing about that says not my will but yours. It's all the time. You hear it all the time, and that's why that phrase keeps popping up in my mind. They did that which was right in their own eyes. They didn't follow after God. They did whatever they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it. So as you go through the book of Kings, you'll see that over and over, and you will see the evil kings and the things that they did. But when you come to 2 Kings 22 and 23, there's a change. And there was a king that did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. And that king was Josiah. And Josiah's story is a very interesting one to me. And I'm going to read verses 1 through 3. And it says, Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jedidiah, the daughter of Adaiah and Boskath. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in all the way of David his father, and turned not aside to the right or to the left. And it came to pass in the 18th year of King Josiah that the king sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of the Lord, saying, Go up to Hilkiah the high priest, and that he may the sum silver which is brought into the house of the Lord, which the keepers of the door have gathered of the people, and let them deliver it into the hand of the doers of the work, that they might oversee the house of the Lord, and let them give it to the doers of the work, that this may be the house of the Lord, to repair the breaches of the house. Okay, I may have read a few more than 3 verses. But what stands out to me here, he was 8 years old when he started his kingship. His grandfather and his father have passed away. They were both kings. They both did that which was right in their own eyes. But here Josiah is, he's 8 years old when he begins his reign. And he did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord. He didn't follow in his father or his grandfather's footsteps. And, it gets better. The note in verse 3, and I'm just going to kind of summarize it. He was 8 years old when he became king. He was 16 years old when he began to faithfully serve the Lord. When he was 20 years old, he began purging the land of idols and its evil practices. And at 26, he began the process of restoring the house of God. This is a young man who was following after God. This young man, I just wonder about the upbringing that he had, because of his father and his grandfather. They didn't set very good examples for him. And it also has said that he was the last godly king in the Davidic line. So he knew of King David. So he's following after God, and he's wanting to do what is right. He didn't, and it says he didn't turn to the right or to the left. He didn't allow ungodly distractions in his life. And so now he's wanting to restore the house of God. So he is providing the money to restore the house of God. And they go and start restoring and cleaning out, and they find the book of the law. And as they begin reading the book of the law to Josiah, it says that he rent his clothes. So he's hearing God's word being read, and he's immediately upset. He is beyond upset. He saw, and he currently sees, how the children of Israel are living. He is seeing how they're behaving, and it's total chaos. They're not following in the ways of the Lord. They're doing what's right in their own eyes. And it's complete and utter chaos. And so he sees this chaos that he's to be leading, and he sees a complete mess. It's just a mess. But he also sees that this mess is where the mission is. So this is where he begins to lead the people back to God. The name Josiah means healed of the Lord. So Josiah brings healing to a lost and dying nation. He began teaching them how to love and to obey God. In 2 Chronicles 34, 30, and 31, it's also the story of Josiah, but here it also says, "And the king went up into the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the priests, and the Levites, and all the people, great and small. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant that was found in the house of the Lord. And the king stood in his place and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord and to seek his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and with all his soul, to perform the words of the covenant which are written in this book." He would follow God with all his heart and with all his soul. And he's making this covenant. He's making a stand here. I'm going to follow him with all my heart, with all my soul, with everything that I am. At such a young age, he's leading God's people, and he is pointing others to God. He is teaching them now how to love and serve and obey God with all of their hearts. And, just like Josiah's world was in complete chaos, so is ours. Josiah recognized that there was a need for a change. And we also see that there's a need for a change. And that this mess that we're in is where the mission is. And Josiah was the change in his world. He began leading the people and pointing them to God. And we need to be the change in our own world. And we need to be pointing others to Christ. You see this young man who, he started out at 8 years old. And then at 16 began faithfully following God. And it just progressed from there. And he continually served, and he continually sought after God. And that's where we need to be. We need to be continually seeking after God, but being that light and being that change in the world around us. We can be that influence. We can be that change. We can be those encouragers to a world that is in total chaos. A world that is seeking for answers and seeking for something more. They're out there. I have always said, I cannot imagine life without God. I cannot imagine how, and I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people live without God in their lives. I don't understand. Because there's so much more for you in following God and following in His steps and just allowing Him to lead. There's so much more for us being in Him. So I hope that you will go out today and just be that change, be that encouragement, be that light for someone else to see so that they can see Jesus. So I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.